Greetings, Elder Blacklight. Today, we're going to take you on a natural high using experience combined with supreme wisdom. And I hope this video finds my subscribers and all those who tune in good health and all is well. And I've been talking about my life in Detroit. I've been showing in the past videos my introduction to the Nation of Islam. I was born in 1946, and my uncle, name is Aziz. Back then, he was Lloyd X. He introduced his mother, my grandmother, his sister, his youngest sister, the baby of the family, was my mother. His oldest sister, older than, I think she was no, she wasn't the oldest, but she was the, I think the middle child. She lived in St. Louis. And she started up, her and some old brothers and sisters started up in St. Louis, Missouri, temple. I don't know the name. But she knew Red Fox and Clark Terry, the famous trumpeter or flugelhorn. What he played both of them, I think. He was the brother of one of my uncles. He was the brother of one of my uncle's wife, and my uncle's name was they called him John Davis. We called him Uncle Piety. I don't know how he got that name, but that was his name on the streets. He was Uncle Piety was a hustler, using all facets of hustling, pimping, bootlegging, just juggling, you know. He had an older brother. Uncle Piety had an older brother named Carl. They called him Red. Same, his name was Red, and he was a hustler on Hastings Street. Pimp, gangster. He was a straight up gangster though. And he ran Hastings Street back in those days. The youngest brother is Uncle Aziz. Uncle Aziz and Malcolm, they were pretty close. He was pretty close to the whole family. All the Malcolm's brothers, they ran together. And when my mother was introduced to the Nation of Islam, she worked alongside of Malcolm in one of the restaurants. And this all was in, I think it's, she joined, this is her book here. See, a lot of brothers that are in Detroit now, some of them are in Mosque number 1, and some of them are in Temple Number One. Temple Number One is Supreme Minister Jah Muhammad, who was the blood brother and one of the last living who could talk about Master Farad Muhammad. He's seen Master Farad Muhammad in person. He was in on a whole lot of those meetings. Now, Uncle Aziz, he had a house on Harding that he rented out or housed Brother Minister Limio. A lot of them brothers probably ain't here with us no more, but Minister Farrakhan, no Brother Limio. But this was back before Minister Farrakhan, I believe, joined the nation. This was in the 40s, because I was a little baby when my mother got mad at my uncle because she wanted to rent from my uncle, but it will require a lot of changes in his house. But he had Brother Limnio, Minister Limnio, in his house, and he turned my mother down. And so my mother got upset with him, and they ain't been right ever since then. But I just wanted y'all brothers to know that Detroit is a special place because it's the beginnings of the Lost Foundation of Islam, founded by Allah in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And when I was about 7 years old, my mother, she just was disenchanted, I guess, with the Nation of Islam, the temple. But she kept donating up until I was about 11, but she just stopped going. But when she stopped going, she went back into Christianity. But we're going to get into that later. But where we moved at was from, I know all of Detroit. I touched down in all spots in Detroit, Southwest Detroit, Inkster, Flint, Pontiac. I was stomping, this was my stomping grounds, all on the east side. I was born in the bottom, Alexandrine, all over there, Hastings, Mack, Jefferson, Field, Concord, Helen, Warren and Forest, Kirby, and Woodward, Highland Park. I lived in Highland Park. I used to run in Hamtramck. I had some friends in Hamtramck. I'm not going to waste time on that, but I just want to set up my experience, and I want to tell the people, you young ones, my life's story. I'm just going to touch on the significant parts of it and start off with this one. The name of this video is going to be Experience Wisdom, Our Natural Highs. Experience and wisdom are natural highs. You don't need nothing else but wisdom, supreme wisdom. And you gain that, some of it through experience, and through some of it is who teaches you, or how you come in contact with knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge of self, your enemy, your environment is supreme wisdom. But you got to have a thorough knowledge of self for it to be supreme. And a thorough knowledge of your nature and who you are. Now, here in the United States, Uncle Sam's motto is, when you see a sucker, bump his head. When you see a sucker, bump his head. And he's been bumping heads, not only bumping heads, but taking heads off. Not only taking heads off, but taking the head of the families of the black man, turning them into little punks, turning the black man's woman out, using her as his sex toy, turning out the little children, murdering them. So he done went beyond bumping heads into massacring, slaughter, and something we're going to deal with today. So stay tuned, and we're going to come back with some information that you must use. We're going to give you some news you must use. This is Black Light